Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Shane and Eric with the Rick team. It's been a while since we've been together, so this is the first podcast we've had a chance to do together in, I think, a year almost. So,
Yeah.
um, hope everybody's been doing well, and we're just gonna jump right into it like always.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you guys, we're sitting here in my new place doing this podcast, and a little different because we've been doing stuff remote, man. And to be in person to do it, it feels feels very nice. So we'll see where the conversation goes today.
Yeah,
We have a topic that I think I've been wanting to talk about for quite a long time. Shane's been wanting me to talk about it as well, but I just wasn't comfortable with a lot of things. So we're going to talk about Sable suicide and some of the trials and tribulations I've been through. But I'm going to be as vulnerable as I can be and honest as I can with the story. And Shane, I know, has some things he wants to ask, but at the end of the day, I want this podcast to be inspiring, to be helpful, and to be something that anyone listening can use to get through whatever they're going through. If they have a loved one that has gone through something like this, or if you're personally going through something like this, I really want this to be helpful in any way that I can. So hopefully my story and the questions and the conversation we have can bring out some, vulnerability, true emotion, and some insights to what it looks like and how it feels to deal with someone that goes through suicide, me experiencing it on myself, and actually working through it and coming out on the other side. So yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about.
yeah, and just to kind of walk it back, if this is a standalone episode, if somebody's never listened to you and I talking, a little background. Um, you know, Eric's wife was named Sable. That's what he was talking about there. So it's obviously a heavy topic, probably a little bit of a warning for anybody that might, need to prepare if you're going to listen to this stuff. It's a very serious thing, and as he said, I wanted him to share his story when he was ready because it's incredibly powerful, and I think that there, we talk about it quite a bit. There was another suicide recently in Southern California in fire service. I mean, it happens all over far too often, but there's a ton of work being done to try to offer resources to people and to make it accessible and everything like that. But you have the real experience that you can kind of walk a timeline through for people. So having said that, I mean, yeah, I'm excited to be able to just to record a podcast with you. And today, just ironically too, is today's 1,000 days that I haven't drank a single beer, whiskey, nothing. I haven't had a sip of alcohol in 1,000 days. So for anybody out there that's a person, if sobriety is tough for you, or if you do count your days, there you go. I made it to 1,000 and we're still cruising. So it'll be 3 years in February. And I keep a little app on my phone, mainly to share it with other people that I talk to, just as a little inspirational thing. But hopefully for anybody out there that needs to hear that, like if you're doing
Yeah,
sobriety's your thing, like keep cruising. I can't believe 1,000 days ago was when I stopped.
fast.
Yeah.
How are we celebrating tonight with 1,000 days?
Had our little Greek food and a little cookie.
Some
So,
crumble.
yeah, things have changed a lot.
You're drinking your water.
Yeah. And another thing too, like I'm actually currently attending some classes down here in Southern California. That's why I'm staying with Eric. But uh, the group that I was in today, we actually did a presentation on behavioral health from an executive fire officer perspective on like how we are supporting our people and are we doing it right? Are we doing enough? And a big push that I was on today was about the things that I've seen work, like the SGB shot, the ketamine. We're going to talk at some point in the future about ibogaine and some of the things that are going on with that. But and then getting into your story, I kind of shared that with some of the chief officers today, and about how you had a supportive staff when you were going through it, which I'm sure will be part of the what you're going to share right now, and how even with the best intentions and the best support, like even the outcome isn't always what we want, and that's the idea, is to continue to refine the process as we move forward. So, anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I will parlay onto that real quick to not take away from what we're going to be doing. But there's a movie that I want to talk about. It's with Marcus Capone, DJ Shipley, in Waves and War, And for me personally, it was an eye opener for me and really pushed me to be vulnerable and wanting to actually do a podcast like this now. After watching that movie that just came out a few days ago, those guys, I was like, you know what, Eric, you gotta let the ego go. You gotta really be vulnerable with people and just talk it out and let people know what it's like to go through that. And like you said, with the support of a fire department, right? There's still a lot of waves of emotions and different things you go through, and so that was really a big inspiration for me. So I just want to give a huge shout out to those guys in Waves of War. And you're actually going to be going to a gala here with some of them coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is November
15th.
15th.
Yeah. Dr. Romig, who we did one of our podcast episodes with, who provides our SGV shots out of Irvine, reached out, and yeah, I'll be going down to the charity gala with him. Obviously it's a big honor to go down there and be part of that. But yeah, I highly recommend the documentary. It just got released on Netflix. As Eric said, it's called In Waves and War, and it's very powerful. There's a Stanford study done about the treatment of PTSD using ibogaine and 5-MeO DMT, and unbelievable results coming out of that. Highly recommend people look it up, go down that rabbit hole, see what it's all about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having some discussions down there as to how they set up their nonprofit, and see where that leads us, and just be able to support them for their cause too, because it's through their nonprofit the Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know when you called me about that, and you said it hit you pretty hard, and motivated you to talk about this particular subject. Because if you back up to when we started all this stuff back in 23, when we started doing podcasts,
That's wild.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
We actually recorded this a few times, your story of Sable suicide. And both times that we recorded it, we went back, we talked about it, and we both didn't feel like it was the best version of the story to release, just because there was gaps in it. There were things that, I think it was still, you were figuring out your voice with it, I suppose. Is that fair to say?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
And
Yep.
so, I've never wanted to push you, but I know you wanted to talk about this in this type of, because you and I privately talked, obviously, and you've shared this with many people that you've interacted with, but to put it on this big of a platform,
Yeah.
that's a big deal. You're putting yourself out there, and I know people will appreciate it, and can hopefully use something like this as a reference, and they can go back to it and, what did he say here, and dip into this, and maybe make some connections in their own personal lives to maybe prevent something from happening that they may not see coming. So
yeah, and like you said, man, for me personally, anyone listening to this, it is very heavy for me personally, and there's a lot of emotion that will probably may or may not come out. I don't know how it's going to go, but at the end of the day, it is. There's a lot of times in my life I just try to, oh, that's not that big of a deal, play the happy guy and put on this tough guy shield, and it's all okay. In reality, internally, it's not okay. So the purpose of me talking about this is to really just let come out, whatever needs to come out. I want it to come out, and like Shane said, it's what did I say? How did I say it? Hopefully, it comes out correctly. I'll try to stay as linear as I can, because I can get off topic sometimes. I think if we listen to our podcast, we all know that. But
I think we all do.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best, guys, and really just try to give some valuable information, some insights onto what it's like, and hopefully this will help you guys or anyone else going through it, or if it happens, in the future, this is always going to be here. So that's kind of where we're at. So yeah, now Shane's gonna just take it away and ask me all the questions you got to ask me. No.
Well, so it's kind of bury the lead. It's obviously your wife committed suicide, ultimately led to you being medically retired from the job.
Yeah.
But if we walk it back, let's talk about who Sable was, how you met her, kind of the genesis of your relationship. Start there.
Yeah. So Sable and I can't say high school sweethearts, but we were in high school, different schools when we met. But met her at a party, and her smile, her blue, like her blue eyes, and just her as a person. She had this infectious like personality, laughing, and sometimes when you go to these parties, and I just gravitated toward this energy she had, and it just really, it hooked me. It hooked me. I was playing in a band at the time, and as I'm playing the bass guitar, I'm looking, I'm like, man, she's smiling. She's just got this big smile about her, and she's, you know, really hanging. She was hanging out with the older ones at that party, and to me that was really cool because she wasn't like just in the little group of teenagers like we typically are, right? She was dancing with some of the elderly ones, and that can, in the wheelchairs and doing, and that's just really, I was like, you know what, that's a cool characteristic to have. That's what intrigued me about her as I'm playing, and I'm just like, man, and that she just seems, I need to talk to her. There's just something about her. I need to kind of see what's going on, and so then, um, you know, we ended up talking, and friend through a friend kind of thing, and uh, um, she just, yeah, I mean, from the first time I met her, I remember. It's funny because I told my parents later. Uh, it was like, I don't know, a couple days later or something like that. I'm like, I'm gonna marry her. I was young. I didn't know,
Yeah.
dude. I'm
Just to
like,
clarify too, this was like a church event, right? That you were
no,
at a
this actually
party.
wasn't a church event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were Jehovah's Witnesses. We'll get into that as well. But this was not a church event. This was actually a high school graduation of one of our friends.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah, and I also didn't know you played bass guitar, so that's fucking sandbagger.
oh yeah, dude, which is funny because
Yeah.
people still. Anyways, yeah, I play
Sorry.
bass guitar, but no, it's, yeah, it's fun. Bass guitar is fun. It's a good time. But yeah. So anyways,
So you told your
I
parents that
told
you
my
were gonna
parents,
marry
yeah,
her.
yeah, I'm gonna
That's a
marry her,
cool story.
and
Yeah.
I'm just, for whatever reason, maybe it's because I had two older sisters, or we're gonna get into my childhood as well, but I've always wanted to be married. That's just been in me. Some people don't. They're okay being single. They're okay, like they don't want to be in a relationship, or whatever, and that's just their personality. My personality was like, I just always wanted to have a family, and when I saw her, I was like, obviously, I thought she was beautiful. So you are attracted to someone, and then you see their smile, and you see their character of uh, engagement with other ones around the party, and um, yeah, it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna marry this chick, and I would think I was like 15 or 16,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, and I was just saying, I was just saying it, not really knowing what I was saying, right? But I just knew I wanted to have a family, and you fast forward, and it's like, yeah, we ended up actually getting married.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of a background of Sable, just very energetic. Uh, she would always give her the shirt off her back for someone. She had one of the biggest hearts. Um, she was like the first one there and the last one to leave. If she would, one thing I loved to, there's a lot of things I loved about her, but um, she would, her close friends, she would have everybody's like anniversaries, and in their religion, they're like the baptismal date they had. So she'd always get gifts like, hey, happy anniversary here, here, this was your baptism or whatever. And she was very big on like letting people know like, hey, I care about you, and I want you to know like I haven't forgot about you. As we get more into the story and the things of how things I didn't know at the time from her childhood to why she was doing those things, because she always wanted to be the one that never got forgotten about. So she would do these things because that's how she felt inside. Like people would forget about her because of her childhood and all these other kind of things. So I didn't see that then, but as our relationship went on, I'm like, man, she's doing a lot of all great stuff. This is all great stuff, but as we get more into the topic, like I've learned so much more about her now that she's not here, why she did what she did, and all these different things. And but at the end of the day, you know, her heart was so big, but also, you know, the fact of a suicide is there's a lot of brokenness and a lot of hurt, a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, and things that will just ultimately lead down a path that, if you don't take care of those underlying problems, it'll lead to that. And so, you know, that's kind of like a little, here she is when she was younger, and here she kind of as an adult, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, so how old were you guys when you got married, roughly?
Gosh, dude, which is, I should know this, but roughly, I was just gonna turn 21. Yeah, and she was just gonna be 20.
Okay, she's like a year younger than
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
So just kids.
Oh yeah.
Not even old enough to drink.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah.
And
in California.
And you've been together for a few years at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So married, probably talking about kids at some point, you know, and career path for the two of you at that time. Did you already have a plan, or not really?
So I did. And this is where the story can kind of it starts to get support and stuff like that. But I either wanted to be like a musician or a fireman when I was in high school. And when I realized some of my buddies were doing the whole musician thing, I'm kind of like, that doesn't look that stable. Like, I really want to do that, but do I really want to, like, I don't know if that's for me. I want to have a family, and that didn't really, I was looking years ahead. I'm like, I don't think this is going to be good for a family. So I'm like, what do I love to do? And so I've always liked to help people and do things with a purpose and give back in some way. And so I chose the fire service. And I don't need to get into detail on all that, but that's what I wanted to do. And so I wanted to be a fireman. I did that. She wanted to become a dental hygienist. And so we kind of had those ideas, but we didn't know how much strain that was going to put on our marriage with the religion. But those are the things, those are the paths we wanted to take. So we did have two careers or job goals that we wanted to hit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And where are you guys living when you guys got married?
We're up in the high desert.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long was it before you got hired in the career you wanted?
I got on it. Shoot, 21?
Yeah. Pretty fast, right?
Yeah, I was on it 21. 20 and a half, 21. Yeah, it was like pretty much like right away. Yeah, and so I was doing all my stuff at college while she was going to college. So as I was going to fire academy, she was taking all of her classes for dental hygiene, like all the prereqs, you know, and stuff like that. So I'd be in fire academy and I would see her at college and she'd be doing her thing. And the guys would make fun of me in the academy. And there's a funny story. So we're having ladder week, dude. And I'm out there throwing ladders, and I'm not that big of a guy. And when I was younger, I was all skin and bones, dude. Just straight up, like, I think soaking wet 135, 140, dude, right? And so we're doing ladders, and the guys are making fun of me. And so this in a good way, like we're all having fun kind of thing. And there's this chick that's like walking down the stairs, and all these guys in the fire academy are like looking at this girl. I was doing something else. And so they start to talk to her, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, where's Eric? That's my boyfriend." I'm like, "That little guy?" And they're, you know, they're all making fun of me and whatever. And then she goes, "Well, he makes up for in other ways." Like, that just gave me a big, like, you know, kudos, right?
Wow.
And so then I didn't know they were I didn't see her. I had no idea what was going on. So then we're done with ladder day, whatever. And anyone that's been through fire academy, you know, we're done cleaning the ladders, and you know, we're in the fire, we're running back and doing our thing. And so then that's when, "Hey guys, I gotta say something." And they just start like, "Eric's this, Eric's that." "Dude, that's awesome, dude." Like, we were trying to pick up this chick, but it was his girlfriend. And it being like this funny joke thing, sure. Right? So like, it was one of those funny stories of just like, she really did. If she was your friend, she would always try to have your back.
Yeah.
She really, truly would. So that's just a funny story. I'll just never forget. It's a pretty funny
That's
one.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like my wife who says to everybody that she thought I'd be taller when we met. No, I'm joking.
Oh man.
No, that's awesome. So, okay. So you get hired, and I'm sure she was working towards getting hired.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so at that point, and in your religion, were you guys living together prior to getting married or no?
No.
Okay. So you
No.
get married, then you can move in together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so you worked in Apple Valley when you first got hired at the fire department.
Yeah.
And how long were you there before you went over to Long Beach?
I was there for like 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in that 7 years, how was your marriage in general?
Honestly, man, it was rough, dude. And I mean, do you want me to get into detail of like why it was rough, or do you want me just to?
Yeah, whatever feels good. I mean, I was trying to paint the picture of like the timeline, and then we can potentially go back and talk about things you saw.
Okay.
I mean, young kids. I think most people getting married when they're young, because they don't have any life experience, it's like it's going to be difficult to a certain degree. But yeah, like again, I don't feel like you need to stick to a script that you just whatever feels natural.
Yeah.
So if those 7 years, because I didn't know in those first 7 years if it was good for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then all of a sudden the crack started, or did it start right out of the gate? Like I think it's good to kind of.
It actually, it was rocky even when we were dating. It was always rocky.
Like back in high school.
Yeah. And I don't want to back up too much, but the dysfunction of our childhoods, and the dysfunction, I feel like once again, I'm saying this because I really don't want to talk bad about people, but it's the reality of how I was brought up and the reality of the religion I was in. There's a lot of control and stuff like that, and a lot of opinions of how a man should be or a woman should be, the type of job you should have, should you go to college, should you not go to college, church attendance and stuff like this. So a lot of that, I see it now, but I didn't see it then. It gave us a very, very rocky foundation to, in my opinion, to two kids that truly did love each other. And so with that bad, unfortunately, it's the reality of a very rocky dating time. It was because me wanting to be a fireman in the Jehovah's Witness organization at that time. It's changed a little bit now, but at that time, there wasn't support from the family. So it was like, Eric's not a spiritual person. He's not a good Christian, right? So when you grow up in that type of environment with a rocky childhood, you are very insecure with yourself. So that insecurity goes into your relationship. And so she thought the same thing. So she's getting fed all these things of like, well, why is Eric a fireman? Why does he want? That's not what a good Christian husband should do. Why is he missing? We call it meetings, but in the general population, church, right? So why a good spiritual husband wouldn't miss meetings? That's not what a good spiritual leader does. Like, if he's going to these meetings without his wife, like, what kind of Christian husband is that, right? So she's getting fed these things, but I'm like, I just want to do a job that I can support my family. Because in my childhood, it wasn't secure, right? Unfortunately, there was a lot of abuse and mental abuse, and there's physical abuse. It did not feel safe. It did not feel secure. There was a lot of things going on there. So I was trying to change that. And I'm like, I want to go ahead and give my family something I never had. And so that's what I saw in my mind. But on the outside, it's like, no, that's not what you do as a husband. You need to go like do something where you're just like a 9 to 5, you're home every single night and you're making every single meeting, you're knocking on doors every weekend, and you're, telling people the world's going to end because if you don't, you're going to die too. Like literally, that's what it is, right? Do I think it's good that we talk to people about the Bible? Of course, I personally do. I'm not going to force it on people, but I personally do. Do I think it's taken way overboard in what I was brought up? Yes, for sure. Because that then goes into your marriage. And it creates this very, because if you're not into those standards, in reality, then you're not in the clique. So now you're not in this clique or in this hierarchy of the cool people or the spiritual people. So now you're kind of, without them telling you, you're not a part of the spiritual friends, right? So you're not being included in things and stuff like that. So that's a lot how our dating was. So,
and assuming you're missing me because you're going to college, you're taking
yeah,
classes, you're an EMT, you're just doing what you do to become a firefighter.
And I was paid
not like you're sitting in the bar getting hammered,
no,
and being this piece of shit.
Yeah,
but you're literally trying to make your life better for you and her.
Yeah,
and basically these people are downloading her with a bunch of nonsense. Yeah.
And I was a paid call fireman at the time too while we were dating. So anyone you can be a paid call, paid on call firefighter or like a reserve fireman, but typically paid on call. You have to live within like 5 or 10 minutes of a fire station, and it's your experience. You want to get in. So anyone that's listening, it's like, so I had a pager on back in the day. And so we'd be hanging out. Maybe we would have dinner plans or something like that. And, pager goes off. I'm super stoked, right? Oh, heck yeah. Because we get paged for fires or legitimate incidents, right? They would be perceived as a legitimate, incident. But then, maybe it'll get canceled or something like that, right? But if there's any kind of fire, any kind of really, good car accident or something like that, pager goes off. I'm stoked, right? So then they saw how happy I was to go do that. And it was like, why are you leaving us? Sable, do you know this is what your husband's going to be leaving you? Like, he's not going to be at home every night. Like, it was just really toxic thing versus like, you know what? How I see it. I didn't see it then, but I see it now. It's like, dude, he's actually trying to do something good. Like something that's honorable, something that takes courage, something that he's really trying to help other people, but they didn't see it that way. I didn't even see it that way at the time. It was more like, I want to do something I like and I want to give back and I just really want to be, I don't want to do the same thing every single day. And this seems really cool. And I like the culture. I like the vibe. I love playing sports. I like the camaraderie. But to them, that was like not good. I never understood that, dude. So I was always kind of getting second guessed on my decisions, right? And so even in my own family, when I wanted to be a fire explorer, I remember going to my my parents and I was like, I'm going to be a fire explorer. And the first thing my dad says is he looks at me and he goes, you're too small. Nobody in our family, no, he goes, do you know what they do? He goes, they get up in the middle of the night. It was all negative, right? And what did that do to me, any young kid? Screw you. Now that just put a fire into my ass. I'm going to freaking prove you wrong. Right? Yeah. And so, it was like, no, I want to make sure to have a job to where my family's taken care of, to where, I'm not switching my kids out of school every couple of years, going to a new school. Like I wanted to raise a family in a place that was safe and secure. And so, that's what was all in my head. So when these things were coming at me from the religion and from the family and stuff like that, I'm like, my head was still, I knew the outcome. I knew I wasn't being a bad person. I knew what they were saying was like, that doesn't make sense to me. Why am I over here and I'm getting support from, some of the fire service guys? That's great, man. Hey, we're going to help you do interviews. We're going to help you progress to do this stuff. But then from the people that matter the most to me are telling me not to do it. And a lot of that, dude, was the religion. I wish I could say it wasn't, but it was. And so that's the reality of the situation. So when you're asking, how was our marriage at Apple Valley? Everything started from that, from us dating. And a lot of it, like I said, I really wish I could say it didn't stem from the religion, but it did. And a lot of it just stemmed from the perception of me doing a job that was dangerous and me doing a job that took me away from my family and me doing a job where I'd miss my meetings, wouldn't be on service, wouldn't be having family study with my family. But in reality, all that stuff can still get done. It's just not by their rules, right? So when you go into a marriage like that, and then your marriage isn't fully supported by the congregation, what kind of foundation do you think that's gonna leave for a marriage? Not good. But you have two kids that are like, but we just love each other. And we're like, we can't communicate, right? We're young. We're trying to figure it out. We're going to college. We're doing our thing. We're trying to figure things out. There's really no support on either side. Dating Sable, she unfortunately, you want me to talk about it now? Some of the stuff that she, when we were dating, she did. She's always kind of had some mental health issues. I found this stuff out while we were dating, but I was so like, now I was in when this stuff was happening. And when she was younger, she did try to hang herself. And that was something that I was like, wait, what? I wasn't sure if it was truth or not. And so then when I come to find out that it was, I talked to her. I'm like, did you really try to do this? I was still like kind of unsure, like, because it came from her mom. And so then the first thing her mom did was she called the elders of the congregation, right? And so then it just turned into this big ordeal versus Sable being heard and someone saying, you matter to me. And she battled with just, does somebody love me? Right? Because when she was younger, and I'm bringing this stuff up because it matters into the relationship and it matters into the marriage and it matters into communication, and things stem from somewhere. And it's like, how do you, when the rails get off the tracks, where did it get off the tracks first? Right? And me as a young boy trying to become a man, there were these things going on. But with my messed up childhood, I just wanted to show her how much I loved her. I can save you. I'm going to be a fireman. Don't listen to them. I'm going to get us, the family we want. I'm going to have the pay. I'm going to make sure you get clothes. I'm going to make sure you have the food you need to eat for her type of body, because she had all these little medical issues. I'm going to make sure that, we have a nice home. I was like trying to do the good things as a man, thinking I'm doing the right thing. And then she's getting pulled. He's not a good man because he's doing this job that's not spiritual, right? So how does she know what's right, what's good or what's bad, right? She unfortunately got sexually molested when she was younger as well. So here you have a girl that is asking for help and she doesn't even know how to accept it. If there's true help right in front of her, because it's just such a mess. So that's the foundation of our relationship going into marriage. And my perspective was like, it's going to be okay. I'm going to make sure that we have what we need to be a happy family. That was always in my head. And for some reason, dude, I don't know if it's the way I come off to people or what, or maybe because I have a wall up because there really has never been support, and I just go, and it can come off maybe arrogant. I don't know, but it was I always just wanted to just make sure that my family was taken care of, and unfortunately, once I became a full-time fireman, things were good. Obviously, you're full-time. You're not on paid call anymore, right? So you have more of a schedule. Money's better. You get a retirement now. You get benefits, all the cool stuff, right? That comes with the job. So, but I would miss more meetings. I would miss service. I would miss conventions. And anyone listening that has friends that are Jehovah's Witnesses or not, anybody kind of religious, it's like it'll be these 2-3 day events. And it's basically Bible-based conventions and talks for about 2-3 days in a row. And so I would miss those, depending on the dates of whenever they were. So that's just another nail in my coffin of like, see, you should have never married a fireman. So she's getting fed these things when I'm not at home, right? So how is she going to perceive me as a husband?
So when you would get home, she would probably pepper you with all that stuff. And, just constant negativity.
Yeah. And so then it's not, and what I see now though, it's not what she wanted to do. I firmly believe that. It's anyone that's young and we're trying to find a direction. You're gonna take who you think your true friends are. And the deeper we get into the story, she told me this years later of like, all you were trying to do was like help me. Yeah, babe. That's what I'm trying to do, right? So it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was bad, but once we get to the Long Beach side of it is when it really like got way downhill. But as far as like the first 7 years full time, yeah, there was a lot of just a lot of things, man. A lot of things. I mean, when you're unhealed and you're young and don't have direction and hurting and have had legit trauma happen to you and and don't even know how to deal with it or how to get support or all those things we're going to talk about. It is a recipe for disaster and a recipe for a bomb to just explode.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense and tracks that you guys are having the difficulties early on, because I've always been curious why you didn't have kids like right out of the gate. Because,
Yeah.
a lot of young people, they get married. I mean, they're pregnant the first year, and, they have 1, 2 kids, like,
Yeah.
before it gets bad, and then then it turns into this whole thing. But
And
but
I
a lot of that
love
makes
kids.
sense, right? It tracks because of the instability of that constant external pressure you guys were dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it kind of hard to start a family with that instability, especially with your starting a new career and not getting support from the people that are supposed to be the most supportive.
Yeah.
But all right, so like I know, obviously, like, again, if this is a standalone podcast and nobody's ever heard our stuff, you and I met in Long Beach. So you'd been a medic with them for when I met you about a year and a half, 2 years, somewhere in that ballpark. But you were fairly new to the department. But you lateraled over. You were a 10-year fireman at that point. I was coming back to the fire service after my little hiatus living on a sailboat. I'd already been a fire captain in Fresno City Fire, and then I came back to drive the ambulance for you.
Yeah.
And the other guys too. I mean, you and I were partners several times at shifts, and that's kind of how we met and got to know each other.
Yeah.
And I remember, man, talking with you on the ambulance and some of the stuff that you were going through with her. And I'll kind of talk from a friend perspective that I think, looking back, I wish I would have been different in how I had conversations with you, because I was very judgmental about the stuff we talked about, and I wasn't very nice about it. I mean, I talked to you as a friend. I believe you should talk to each other, but yeah, same as you, I just didn't have the education at the time.
Yeah.
It's very easy to just lump somebody into person's this or that kind of thing.
For sure.
Anyway, but in Long Beach, so as that's a tough department. It's bigger than where you came from. It's busier. It's, and you're a medic downtown. You were getting crushed. You worked on the truck. You worked on the engine. You worked all over. Mandatories happen a lot. So what was going on in your life at that time? Like, where'd you guys move? Did anything change in that? And then, like, how was your relationship?
Yeah. So we actually moved to, from the desert, we moved to Temecula. And that's where we were living during Apple Valley for a while. And then once I got Long Beach, pay went up immediately. So it was like, should we have maybe stayed in Temecula a little bit longer? Maybe. But it really wasn't that big. We wanted to get back to the beach. So it's like, hey, that's why you take a job, or that's why you want to improve yourself to be able to live a better life that you want to live, right? So we ended up moving to Oceanside. And so when I was in Long Beach, yeah, we lived in Oceanside. And by this time, she was a dental hygienist. So fireman, dental hygienist. Financially, we were doing, we were doing fine. Yeah, when we got hired, it was after, because that big economy crash was like in 2009, right? 2008, 2009?
8 to 10, yeah.
8 to 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was 2012. So we were, I think if I remember correctly, we were the first academy to get hired in 4 years. Mm-hmm. And the process took a bit. And so there's just a lot of stuff with HR and, the economy and whatnot. So it was a prolonged process. So imagine a department that hasn't hired for 4 years that typically does about 1 to 2 academies a year. What's that going to do in a 4-year span? You're going to be short a lot of personnel. And at that, the personnel that have been working short-staffed, they're going to be tired. They're going to be burnt out. Their culture's changed. And then at that, we were laterals. There's only, if any Long Beach guy, anyone's listening to this, I think there was one prior to my academy, one lateral academy. But besides that, there wasn't any that I can recall.
Yeah, not a common one. Yeah.
It's not a common thing. So it's been you know, a time since they hired. Guys are working a lot. They're ready to get some relief, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, we need some relief, man. Like, let's hire some guys. They're not seeing their family. They're working. They're tired. It's a busy place, right? And so we get on, and now that we didn't do a full, dude, this is so sad. It's either 14 or 16 weeks. I can't remember. I think they would kind of hop back and forth on how long the duration of the academy would be. But when I got there, since it was a lateral, they put their full-time academy into 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so only thing that we took out was, I think it was like how to take a fire hydrant, how to roll hose, right? So basic stuff.
Yeah.
But Long Beach does do stuff different than a lot of other places, because they just do that. That's their culture, right? So we have to learn. That academy we were supposed to learn their culture, their way, right? And dude, that was my dream department. So I was so happy to get with Long Beach Fire. My station visit there, dude, like, I was, any guy that wants to try to get some experience and they want to try to move up and maybe have more purpose in their career, or go work, make a little bit more money and be able to take care of their family as best as they can, and work in a downtown area, be on a tiller truck, and go do high rises and basements and center hallways, and all these things that you see on YouTube, like in New York. I want to go do that fire, right? So I never wanted to work in New York. I loved watching the YouTubes, but I just wanted to work in like a city. And so I was applying for different places, LA County, LA City, Long Beach, OCFA, any guy that's trying to get onto a bigger department, you're testing everywhere. And so when I got to a Long Beach station, immediately I was just like, this is sick. I just liked the culture. I went in there and they were quizzing me right away, dude. Like, oh, you're testing for a lateral? Okay. Here's a PowerPoint. Here's a center hallway structure fire. What are you going to do? You're pulling the line, you're the fireman on this. You're pulling this line. Tell me what you're going to do. What's your process? That was like first meeting the guys, not knowing anybody, yeah. Right? And I'm in front of, I went to Station 1 downtown where we met. At that time, I think there's maybe 14, 16 guys there, something like that. I'm used to 3 guys at a station. Yeah. But dude, I wasn't nervous. I was excited. I was like, hell freaking yeah, dude. I was like, fillet me open. I don't care. I want to learn. Like, let me know this. I want to work here. And if I don't know something, I'm going to I don't know, but that's why I'm here, kind of thing. So that's how I took my station visit. Did I feel pretty confident on a nozzle and engine operations and stuff like that? Yeah. Did I ever do a high rise, like a center hallway? No, I've never done that. So when they're asking me these things, I'm like, well, I'm just going to kind of give like my little, what I think I would do as a fireman, and give them with the response of the experience I have. And then if I don't know something, I'm going to tell them, I've never done that. So can you guys help me? That's how I did a lot of these scenarios. Mm-hmm. The stuff that I knew, I did fine. And the stuff I didn't, they're like, you know what, dude? You don't know what the heck you're doing, but you were honest about it. And then they mentored me. And I was like, that's so cool. But they really mentored me. Yeah. And they're like, hey, this is what you would do. We would look at the screen. And so you've never been in a center hallway fire? No. 3rd story? No. 4th story? No. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, dude, this is why. Like, I couldn't even hold back like my excitement. I'm like, this is why I want to work here, guys. They're probably just laughing at me, but I was seriously that excited, yeah, to get there. And so that station visit just blew me away because I've done other station visits other places. I never got that. It was more like, oh, okay, what did you bring me today? Okay, well, we all bring each other goodies and stuff like that, right? But it was more of like beating me down of like, you want to be here, so we're gonna let you know how badass you have to be here. Like I felt when I went to Long Beach, it was like, dude, we're gonna put time into you. We're not gonna be easy on you, but we're gonna put time into you. But it's up to you to put the freaking work in and make sure you hold the standard. But we will give you everything you need to know. That's how I took my station visit.
Yeah.
And so I was hooked. And then uniforms were pretty chill, right? Some people agree with it, some people don't, but I loved it. They're busy. From Fresno, how busy you guys are. Maybe it's unprofessional sometimes, but I don't know. I think it's awesome. It's, I remember just guys' shirts weren't tucked in. They were just kind of cruising around. But when it was time to work, it was like job was getting done, in my opinion. Pretty darn good, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's no doubt. Like Long Beach is full of amazing guys and girls, and I think it's an awesome organization. But just from everything you said, you would think, okay, great, you're in the dream department, so everything at home must have been great, right?
Yeah, no.
Like it must have improved drastically because now you're super happy.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying work and you're coming home and it must have gotten better.
Yeah.
And now you moved to Oceanside, so that's probably even better.
Yeah. Do a block off the beach, dude.
Yeah. So
you can hear their waves at night. Just awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, on the outside, it's like they got it made, right? But home was just like kind of rewinding a little bit of guys don't get hired for a while. So now we have a shortened academy. We get to the floor and we weren't supposed to work extra shifts. I think originally it was supposed to be like, I don't know, 3 months or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe it was more, maybe it was, I don't remember, but it was somewhere around there. And so they were short so many guys. It was like, hey, you know what? Anyone, once they get on the floor, like they're going to start working like Mandos like immediately, right? Like we have extra guys on the floor. Like let's get some help. So they cut that time frame. Like I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was shortened a lot to where now we're working Mandos like on probation and when I left Apple Valley, working 10, 12 days a month. Pretty normal. Then summertime, right? You go on strike teams, you're gone for a couple of weeks, maybe 21 days, depending on what rig you're on or something like that. So that's what Sable was used to. 10, 12 days, normal. Okay, summertime comes. I went down to LB. Definitely not like that. We were in our, it was like our family day. And there was a chief. We watched the whole Dig Me video of Long Beach, all the cool stuff, right? And after that was done, we did the orientation stuff. And one of the chiefs at the time was like, hey, I'm going to let you guys know, wives, there's a lot of divorces going on in this department. If you guys can't handle this place, there's the door. Nothing against you guys. It's a hard place, but you got to know what you're getting yourself into. If you want to be here, it's going to take a lot of time and energy. If one of my other buddies was listening to this podcast, I might send it to you because I remember him and his wife cried. And they knew we weren't going to leave. We were like, hell yeah, that's why we're here. Give it, like, if we got to work, we're going to work. That's why we came, right? That doesn't scare me. Like, hey, if we're working and, hey man, no, we're good. We got this.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, after Sable's like, babe, like, I don't know, like you're going to miss more meetings and this, I'm like, no, this is the decision. Like, it's going to be okay. We're going to work through it kind of thing. So now I'm working a ton more. And, those 10 to 12 days now are going to 14, 16 days, 14 days on normal, 15 days on a normal, right? Sometimes more than that. Then if you get a normal month, stoked on it. But now I was not home at like nearly as much as I was prior. So now we're getting more disconnected, right? And then the calls going from Apple Valley, we're at that time 10 to 12, 14, somewhere around there probably.
which is busy.
Which is it? I
But
feel
you go
like
to
it's
long. Yeah, it's one. I mean, it's called almost every 2 hours, right? Like
yeah,
it's a
true. Yeah.
significant amount of calls,
Yeah.
and
And I felt like that was slow, dude.
but when you run to a rescue ambulance at 20 a day, and
Yeah.
you're at the hospital. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Those guys
Yeah.
just are in a meat grinder in Long Beach on those boxes.
Yeah.
And that's what you were doing all the time. So you're coming home and you're wrecked.
You're beat. You're wrecked.
Yeah, like you're a zombie in a shell of a person.
Yeah.
You're not sleeping, and not to mention a lot of the calls just make you hate people in general. You know, so you're probably not very nice to be around. I know.
Yeah.
I am not when I'm doing those things. So
yeah. So
all that was probably happening.
exactly, right? And so anyone that is listening to this can probably relate. It's like, you know, it takes a lot to be able to hold your marriage together when you're not home. It takes a lot to hold your marriage together when you have a rocky foundation. It takes a lot to hold your marriage together when there's not 100% full trust. It takes a lot to hold a marriage together and a relationship together when you're just, it's just, life's challenging. It is. It's just challenging, right? Everyone's got something we got to figure out. But as time goes on, you know, I'm not home more. Calls are getting worse, and you know, this is something like I said, I'm just going to be vulnerable as much as I can because I feel like it's something I've been holding in for a very long time. I almost failed probation, dude, and I was at a station that was very difficult for me, and I never thought I was going to fail probation. I did fine in academy. Completely fine. And when they were finding out I was having an issue, they were like, why are you having an issue, dude? Like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, so there were just a lot of things that happened at my station that I see now that really messed me up mentally, unfortunately. And I'm not using that as a cop out or pity party. I'm saying that's the reality of what happened to me. And I didn't know how to communicate a lot of these things. I was just a scared little boy at that time and just thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to suck it up and just take it versus like, hey, this stuff isn't right. And yeah, at this time I was 20. I think I went at 27. So I wasn't like, I was a little bit older, right? Thinking I should kind of have my voice. I had no voice. Yeah. I didn't know what a voice was, bro, at all.
But you also had stuff going on at home, which impacts your work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other stuff that, you know.
So when I'm putting those two things together, right, it's a lot to, and I'm not saying this just about me. We all have this. I truly mean that. But in my world, it was a lot of just pressure that I had no clue how to deal with it at all. I don't know how to communicate to my crew. I don't know how to communicate to my wife. I don't know how to communicate to friends and family. So I just became more of a shell. And I didn't fail, obviously. And so I got through it. It was fine. And when I went to my second house, you know, they obviously what happens in the fire service is depending on your first house, you go to your second house and, you know, there's a report on you, right? Are they doing good? Are they not doing good? Hey, what's, you know, what are the weaknesses? What are their strong points? Because they do want to groom me to be a better fireman, right? And so I was so nervous of like, oh my gosh, it's going to be bad. I just barely passed. And this is going to suck. And I was just on so much edge. My home life wasn't doing good because if I didn't pass probation, I'd have no paycheck. I wouldn't have the insurance. We wouldn't, all the stuff. And I couldn't go back. When you leave, you don't go back. Yep. So it's like everything's on the line. It's a lot of stress, dude. Right? It's like, okay, so this awesome paycheck and the beach house we just moved into and me as a man, just my own dignity, failing probation, and now I can't take care of my family as a man. It's a lot, you know? And so there was like no thing in my, there was no, I never even thought I was going to come close to failing a probation because I'm like, I'm an easygoing guy. Okay, put me with it. I'll just keep working. I'll just work hard. It is what it is. I felt pretty strong with my skill set. And if I just do my job, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to do my job. Friends will come later if they need to. If they're not my friends, hey, as long as if you get on the rig with me, hey, Padgett's in the back and the job is going to get done, then that's all I care about. And so that was always my mentality. But it came to like, I was having a hard time doing my job because I got so much in my head on probation. And so I'm like, but I've never had this problem training before. Like, what is the problem here, you know? And so anyways, that stuff got sorted out. And I ended up going to a truck house, and they got the report, and I was so nervous. And I remember talking to the captain, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry if I'm ever doing anything wrong. I was just like on eggshells. He's like, dude, you're fine. We heard your story. Just start fresh here. Like, you're good, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this particular captain was a legend captain at Long Beach. And I was very just like so stoked to be with this captain, because I was also with this particular captain at my prior station. And when he went to the truck and I had the opportunity to work with him, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so sick. Like, I'm going to learn so much. My crew was an all-star crew. I had an ex-FDNY guy, ex-pro athlete guys, Marine guys, just a stud of in my opinion, you know, yeah. I felt like I had just a lot of good dudes that can actually, like, they can mentor me, right? And so that's exactly what they did. Yeah. And so all that timidness, you know, being timid, and me being scared and afraid to have a voice, and just on edge. The probation's hard. Like, anyone that goes to a Long Beach probation knows, like, you're given nothing. Everything is earned, right? I'm sure Fresno's the same. And I think you should take pride in that. I don't want anything given to me. I take pride in, you earn your spot, right? You earn your badge, all that kind of stuff. So when I got to Station 7, because when I was at the other station, our marriage was doing very bad. Dude, I was drinking whiskey nearly almost every night just to get to sleep. And Sable was like, you don't ever drink alcohol like this. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm so stressed. I would just, like I said, this is meant to be, not pitying, it's meant to help. And I'd be crying before I go into shift, just because of the stress it was going to be. I'm like, dude, freaking pick yourself up, cry it out right now, figure it out. But it's go time once you go through those doors, right? Yeah. And so all that stress was going on to home, and she was realizing, like, you never did this at Apple Valley. You weren't drinking this much. You're home more. Yeah, you're making more money over here, but you left, and now our marriage wasn't that great. Now it's getting worse. You're getting more disconnected, and all this, that first 6 months was pretty bad, dude. It was pretty bad. There was a lot that went downhill from that first 6 months that I don't think, obviously, never got repaired. We tried, but it just like dug this hole, because my number one priority in reality was not the marriage. It wasn't the religion. Yeah, it was nothing. It wasn't even me. It was the job. Yeah. Pass. Do not fail. Nothing else matters. Literally nothing else matters. The job. I need to pass. Because if I don't pass this, first of all, I'm gonna feel stupid. I'm gonna feel like a failure. I'm not gonna be able to, like I talked about with the family and being able to provide and protect and all that kind of stuff, right? So she sensed that. So it just, obviously, she sensed it in the wrong way. If she had a better foundation to support me and understand what I was doing, I think it would have been a whole completely different outcome. But when you have all these outside forces coming in, who's this guy? He's selfish, right? So I can see both sides. But so yeah, when I go to sevens, all that stuff got hammered out. And it was really one of those things where I just was able to let my guard down, and I feel like that's where I became a fireman. And they knew stuff was going on at home, and so they're like, hey dude, make sure home is good. Like, let's make sure your wife's good. And they really mentored me. And you're gonna be fine, dude. Like, you're gonna be fine. I'm like, how do you know? Like, you're gonna be, they know. Yeah. they can see it. They saw. And we would go train, we would do things, and they truly mentored me. And we know it. Like, if we see somebody in the first, hey, this one's gonna be a little challenging, he's gonna get through. But yeah, this one's gonna be okay. He's gonna take some work, it'll be okay. So they were like, dude, you're gonna be fine. Just make sure, just come in here, do your thing, be a rookie, play the game, do what you need to do, but make sure home is good too. And it just really took that.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
Huh?
It's how it should be. And,
yeah.
And it's, I mean, and that's part of it where I hope anybody listening is getting the context that doesn't matter the patch that a person's wearing. Like,
yeah.
Probation for anybody is going to be stressful. sometimes it's, some departments definitely easier, some departments harder. Long Beach has definitely got a reputation for being tough. And I mean, in all fairness, they warned you guys at family night,
Yeah.
right? Like, dude, there's the door. And I love that because it's kind of like, dude, but it ties into the whole mentality we have as firefighters. It was like, oh yeah, like, hold my beer, like, let's go. If you're going to challenge me, I'm going to do this kind of thing. And we selfishly choose regardless what our wives want. I know I'm that way.
Yeah.
And I think you're saying the same thing. So
Yeah.
So after probation's over and all that, and I met you after that. It was probably a year or two after that, and like you said, I see this dude, good looking cat, fit, driving a cool car, living in Oceanside. He's a drummer, like all this stuff, and yeah,
It's all show, dude. It's all show.
Wife's hot, and you're a super positive guy, really good medic, fun to be around. So, talk about what was going on during that time.
Yeah, I mean,
and you.
At the end of the day, dude, that stuff from dating, from being newly married, it was all festering. Everything's been festering, and just would go deeper and deeper and deeper. And I wanted to try to really, truly work on the marriage, but I was, at the end of the day, I was just beat, dude. Like I was so disconnected from life. And I think those are some of the conversations that we had. There was just some, we've all ran bad calls, and there's just some that hit me, and I wouldn't talk about it. And it just, the more calls you run, the more things that happen, you just become numb to certain things. And I got numb to just a lot of things. I got numb to sex. I was not, because you're asking what happened in that time. There was no sex life. There was zero. It was like, there was no connection. There was no communication. There was no love. We were like roommates, dude. And it was so unhealthy, but deep down, it's not what I wanted. And I didn't know how to stop it. It was like, I saw myself in a mirror. I'm like, why are you doing this? Don't do that, dude. Just do this. And it's like, I couldn't, like, I just couldn't stop, and because at the end of the day, once again, with my foundation and just my personal story, I had to make sure I was good at work. And so I gave all my energy at work, no energy at home. So they sense that. Oh, so now work's number one and I'm like last? Yeah, you actually are right now. Because if I don't have this job over here, we don't have food. We don't have this. We don't have that. We don't, what's going to happen? You're not going to have this awesome insurance that we get. So then arguments start, right? And those arguments just fester and fester. And then you work more. I get involved more. I want to work at the academy. I'm part of the hockey team. I'm, playing roller hockey, ice hockey. I'm taking on rookies, and I'm just training more. And so what do? We get more involved with work, right? Because for one, we like to do it. Yeah. It's what we love to do, right? So now you want to be home. They sense that, right? So answering your question as far as like what's going on, it's like, okay, you get more disconnected. You're at work more, and I would just love to play hockey with the guys, right? She hated that. So now it's like, he's a fireman, he's playing hockey. Now in the Jehovah's Witness world, you don't do extracurricular sports either, right? So now, because competition is bad, stupid, right? How do you expect to get better in life without being competitive, dude? Like, come on, man, And so, so now you're adding all these things up, right? I'm not home as much. We're not having sex. We're disconnected. Now what's getting fed with her? He's cheating on you. That's what firemen do. That's what's getting fed to her now. I have no idea this is going on, right? And so then she's getting fed all these negative things. I didn't know this at the time. And these are things I found out later, right? Because she opened up about a lot of this because she made a lot of bad decisions. But there would be people in the church that she really respected that were saying that's not what a spiritual husband should be doing. So now people she respected are getting into her head when I'm just trying to stay alive. I'm literally trying to make sure I'm doing the right thing as a man, dude, and have a good job and be good at work to where we get on the rig And it's like, hey, you know what? Yeah, home matters, but not right now. Because this, you're at your job. And I think any man that has any kind of self-respect for himself or dignity wants to have respect for himself for one, but he wants respect of his peers, right? Because you get on the rig and it's like, I don't want anybody on the rig with me that can't do his job, because now I'm doing two jobs. You don't want to do that, right? And so you want to make sure that you're not the weak link. You want to make sure, if anything, you're the strongest. Not saying you're always going to be the best, because I want people to be better than me because I want to grow, but yet I want to make sure I'm not the weak link. And all of my, literally, dude, I say the majority of my energy went into making sure when I get to work, that's my number one priority. And that was my number one priority for a very long time. And Sable would say that. Fire service has always been number one to you. It's always, I'm like, what is number one, Sable? It is number one, because this is what I love to do. I stopped trying to make up, you call it like, what's the word? Not bumper sticker, insurance. I was just honest. Yeah, it is number one to me. And I started like just accepting it. Sorry, it is number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a slump. I'm not freaking doing all this crappy stuff. Like, I'm trying to provide for us here. So it's like, just bad arguments, dude. So sad. Like, I look back at them and listen to, like, it's just.
Yeah, it's important though to talk about, because I mean there are people currently experiencing this kind of stuff. So you need to realize when you're in it, you're in it. Damn near impossible to realize. You know? And as you said, you're just doing the best you can in that moment.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't a slight against her. She, in her mind and who she was at that time, she was doing the best that she was for herself.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be lost on anybody that's listening that you obviously had a lot of stuff stacked against you, where you were coming home to a lot of negativity. You failed on some fronts too. It was a mutual kind of thing. So, because I mean, like, and you alluded to her making bad decisions. That's kind of what I remember, was you talking to me about stuff that she was doing, and me basically just being like, "Fuck her, get rid of her. She's a liar. She's this, she's that," because of how I grew up and things I'd done, and I just basically like lumped her in as like, "Oh, dude, she doesn't appreciate you because I saw you as this like awesome guy, super good dude. You know, like what could the problem be?" And then it's like, "Oh, it's got to be her."
Yeah.
You know, that's how I saw it at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't see. I'm like, dude, I've been out drinking with you. You're not a big drinker. You're not this. Like, I always make fun of you because, dude, you could be draped with girls all over you, and you just like not even interested. It's just funny, right? Like, I remember those things and busting your balls back then. And we'd go out and I remember going to the port and smoking a cigar and talking to you about this stuff and telling you like, "Hey man, I've been around a lot, and I'm telling you right now, dude, like, you are not going to have a problem enjoying your life and having fun. Like, you don't need to be in this toxic marriage."
Yeah.
I remember telling you that.
Yeah.
And,
I remember.
Which probably wasn't good and healthy advice for somebody that was like really in love with her, and probably needed somebody to help you like figure out a way to mend the marriage, as opposed to just being like, get rid of her. So yeah, way to go.
Yeah,
Shane.
thanks, sucker.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, obviously I ended up going back to Fresno, chose to do that, and you didn't stay with Long Beach much longer after that. And kind of what happened, that because any firefighter that hears that story is going to be like, why would you leave Long Beach to go back to another department? Like, if Long Beach was your dream department, kind of thing. I think I know, but what kind of drove that decision?
So there's a lot, dude. And
but we're talking about her. Let's just, on that, what was the factors with her?
Yeah. So it was factors with both of us. And I want to hit back on what you said, as far as like, I'm not doing any of this because it takes two to tango, right? It does. And there's plenty. I am by far so imperfect, dude. And plenty of things that I could have communicated better. And, but when you're in it, you don't know. And, when our relationship was getting worse, and I'm going to get into your answer of, when I just decided to leave Long Beach, because there's things that led up to that. And, there was a lot of, I was just realizing a lot more. And I'm like, shoot, this dude, I was going to strip clubs, I was watching porn, and since our marriage was so bad, I would just do these things to feel some kind of connection. And Like I said, this podcast is meant to be 100% vulnerable because I'm not perfect by any means. And in the Jehovah's Witness organization, I'm gonna bring this up again. I didn't even want to say this stuff out loud years ago when we started talking about this stuff because they won't talk to you. If you're actually 100% open, they'll disfellowship you. Now, the people that you grew up with, you don't have any friends. So it's like, I was afraid to even be open because it's like, well, who's going to talk to me? Who am I going to have in my corner? Like the fire service or Sable? Like there was just so much mess in my head of, can I even be open? Who's going to listen to this? Like, I'm going to look so bad. I'm going to look like a bad Christian. I'm going to look like all these. I'm a human being, dude, that was trying my best, that has definitely made mistakes. And Sable and I talked about all these things. And but during that time, I go back to my first 6 months, alcohol started, and that was for me, like, not to forget problems. That was for me to just get sleep, to be able to deal, just to be able to get sleep, to go into work and do my thing, right? And so as that foundation was getting, more, just getting chipped away more, and then I started, adding, the strip clubs, and I still wasn't even drinking. Like, I wasn't even drinking, dude. I don't do drugs. I wasn't like getting drunk all the time. My thing was, I was seeking connection. I wanted to feel some kind of love because I didn't have it at home. And when I was going to work, I wasn't even open with guys at work. Guys would try to help me, and I would still have a wall up. And when I was involved with like the hockey team and doing all these other things, like, I look back and it's like, God, even to this day, a lot of my long range buddies don't even truly know who I am because I was not myself there. I was a shell of a person, dude. Mm-hmm. I was a broken little boy that had all I knew how to do, dude, was be a fireman. At the end of the day, I didn't know how to communicate with people. I didn't know how to communicate with myself. I didn't know how to communicate with my wife. I just felt like, you know what? Give me a chainsaw, I can do that. Give me a fire, I can do that. Give me a rescue, I can do that. Go put me on some kind of medical aid, I could do that. Because it was a task. I had something to do at the moment. I could train for it and I can like get it done. And so like the things where I had to kind of like make decisions out of the fire service, I had no idea. Because that was one thing I felt like I worked so hard for, no one's going to take it away from me, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So as, time goes on and I'm trying to figure out this marriage thing, I kind of hit a point where, there was, with the strip clubs and with all this stuff, that obviously hurt her. I don't know if she was doing stuff like prior to that. I'm pretty sure she was. But then I come to find out, like, she was cheating on me for a while. And so here I'm at work and I'm thinking I'm doing the right, here I'm thinking, yes, am I doing everything correct? No. But did we talk about the strip club and the porn? We did. I thought we got over that. I didn't withhold that stuff. I was like, hey, this stuff needs to get communicated out because I'm hurting. We're both hurting. This marriage is suffering really bad and something needs to happen. Like, we need to figure this out. We went to marriage counseling. We did all of it, dude. We did couples counseling therapy. We did single, then together. When it comes to the marriage stuff, I feel like we did a lot of it. All the stuff they recommend, we did. But at the end of the day, we were withholding stuff from ourselves, and we were just broken, dude. We were just hurting. We were suffering separately. And so if two people are suffering separately, then we just end up suffering together. And it was just very toxic. And so when I started putting these things together, I started hearing stories of other people going through things. And then I was, even though we work in a certain department, we have friends in, numerous other departments. I would talk to them. How's your marriage? Oh, we're doing great, man. This isn't everything. Are they doing great? I don't know. But a lot of these people, I felt like my friends. They were my friends, right? I've known them for a while, and I'm like, man, our marriage is suffering, and I kind of started to open up a little bit more to people, and uh, it was just a moment of me doing so many things, of being a musician, helping out with training. Like, I wasn't a part of training, but I would go out to training, do like EMS stuff and stuff like that. And then we had rookies, and I guess the hockey team, and then all these other things I was involved with. I made the decision of, like, you know what, I'm like doing all these things. Of course, maybe at this moment, I think I was 30, 34, 33, 34, somewhere on there. So I've kind of hit an age of, like, I'm no longer in my 20s. I've gone over that 30 age gap. And dude, I need to work on my marriage. Like, that's what should be number one. I've made the job number one for, like, to me, long enough. This is not healthy anymore. Like, I love my wife. We've been through hell and back, and we've hurt each other a lot. We've done a lot of bad things to each other, but we need to heal this. And that's when I realized, like, I can't do it working here. I just can't. I need to be home more. And I'm not going to be home more with the department that I love, with the department that I truly wanted to be at. And at that time, dude, my first few years were fine. But then even that reputation started to go down, because now my job, my work life was suffering. And guys are like, dude, like, you got to get it. You gotta get it. And I couldn't. I was battling things. I was just, dude, it was just bad. So
it came down to basically like an ultimatum. It was going to be her or the job.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chose her.
And so I did. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up going back to Apple Valley. Mm-hmm. And I was testing different places, but I didn't want to be a rookie somewhere else, because I know what it takes to be a rookie. You're going to be there.
But also, Apple Valley was home. It was a good department, good guys. I mean, it wasn't just like you landed there because that was all your options were. Like,
yeah. And so then they had this awesome bill that passed and everything. So budget was better, and stability was better. All these great things. Those guys, I love those guys. I've known all those guys since I was a teenager. And so when they were opening up, I was like, wait, what? AV and the pay's pretty good. Like, it's decent. I took a massive pay decrease, but it was, so I can live on that. And so other guys were telling me the same thing. Like, dude, she's messed up. Like, you need to, like, don't. Like, don't. But I was so stuck in my head too, because at the reality, dude, she was. So was I. We were both messed up, man. And we're both suffering. We're both hurting. I'm not trying to put her down. I'm not trying to put myself down. I'm just being honest. You have two people that are just suffering and hurting, like a lot of us are, and were. And I had to make a decision. So I go back to Apple Valley, and there was a lot of things we were trying to. There was actually going through divorce at that time. Even was it through Apple Valley? No, it wasn't. I'm sorry, it wasn't. It was when I was at Apple Valley, and so I leave Long Beach, and I'm still drumming at this time, but not as much. She like, how toxic it was. Like, she legit thought I left Long Beach to go to Apple Valley so I could drum more. Like, I was like, Sable, you think I'm leaving, like, my dream department, place where I make great money, I get great retirement, great benefits, I love the culture, to play drums more? Like, I still get to play drums even when I'm there. Like, yeah, maybe I don't get to play as much as I want, but there was just this toxic stuff going on in her head and whatever she was getting fed. And so I go back to Apple Valley, and it was, I see it now, but there was a lot of, like I said, a lot of things she was doing that I was kind of just, you can sense it, right? If your mate's doing something, but you don't really know. And I never thought, like, I just never thought she would do the stuff she did. But when you're hurting, man, and I'm not saying it's okay, but I could see somebody's viewpoint. I can see their perspective. if your husband's not there, if he's distant, if he's quiet, if there's no sex life, if there's so much uncertainty, you're human. You're gonna make some mistakes, and you're gonna go out and try to find some kind of connection as well, and so, and as a Jehovah's Witness, um, you can't get a divorce unless there are two witnesses. So it's this thing, the scriptural thing. So even if sorry, I'm kind of speeding up here a little bit. So when I get to Apple Valley, that's my way to work on the marriage. And they rarely get force hired, right? It's like, okay, 10, 12 a month is pretty normal. Even when I went there, that was how it was. There was my year 48.96. So with LB, it was 4s and 6s.
Yeah.
So anyone that's listening, that's not a fireman, you work every other day for like it's day on, day off, day on, day off, day on, day off, day on, 4 off. Same thing, then 6 off. So Apple Valley was 48.96, 2 on, 4 off, 2 on, 4 off. And so I've never been on that schedule. And so anyone that was on that schedule was like, dude, you're home more, it's better, all these kinds of things. And I was like, okay, sick. This will really help my marriage, right? And what was number one in my mind was like, I need to be home more. I need to be there for Sable. And we need to fix this. No matter what was done, we need to heal this because we do love each other. We truly love each other. I truly felt that. And get there, and guys were, dude, more than welcoming, man. It was awesome. And I felt like it was the right decision for sure that needed to be made at that time. And so do the probation, do the stuff, and part of training again, and we helped with the rookie manual, and I was with the great captain that came from OCFA. And so we took OCFA stuff, Long Beach stuff, and we came up with the rookie manual, engine walkthrough, truck walkthrough, took some of the Long Beach stuff. So I was involved right away. And but unfortunately, dude, it was so broken that just the arguments just kept going and going and going. And I'm trying to heal it. And then I just kind of was like, I've done all this work. Like I'm doing this like literally for us. And it just wasn't working. And she filed for divorce. And so like I said, when you're Jehovah's Witness, you're not supposed to get a divorce unless it's other people, like basically two witnesses, other people know about it. So Sable goes, I want to get a divorce. Obviously, it broke my heart. I'm like, I just left Long Beach. I just finished probation over here, and now you're throwing me with I've been working my butt off. I haven't maybe people want to call porn or strip club cheating. Okay. If that's what they want to call cheating, okay. It's not good at all. I never had sex with another chick, kissed another chick, touched another chick. Even when I when I would go to the strip clubs, like I think I told you this, right? I would pay for the rooms just so I can talk to them. Because I was just like, I just want to talk to someone. And so that's pretty embarrassing to say. And I'm just saying this because it's like, that was me, guys. I was just looking for some kind of connection, but I did truly want this I wanted this at home. And they was just so lost that I didn't know what was up, what was down, and how cliche that might sound. I'm like this drowning little boy that's just trying to figure it out and not making the right decisions, trying to figure it out. But hey, at least we got food on the table. At least we got a roof over our head. At least we got insurance. Right? I'm trying to do something right. Even though I'm not doing other things right, at least I'm trying to take care of that. So yeah, she files for divorce, and obviously hit me like a ton of bricks. Big thing. Got the papers, and take the papers to my parents, and It's just sad, dude. I can laugh at it now, but me and my dad we almost got in a fist fight. Got a pretty bad argument, but I showed him the papers and he looks at me. He goes, "Well, if you're a better spiritual husband, this wouldn't have happened." Those were his first words that came out of his mouth. I'm just like, "Are you kidding?" Dude, it was just stupid, right? Versus like, "Hey, you know what? This sucks. You've been trying so hard to raise your family. Hey, we're gonna get through this. This is gonna be rough. It's gonna be challenging, but we're gonna get through it, and we're gonna make sure that we become stronger from it." That's all I need to hear. Pretty simple. But it was like, once again, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. So a lot of my life, I feel like I was always wrong. I couldn't do anything right. That's what was always in my head. And so I don't sign the papers because I was getting told I'm still going to meetings. I'm still doing the church, and people are telling me not to sign. The elders, you can't sign those because do you know if she's done anything? I'm like, I'm pretty sure she never told me. She just wanted a divorce because she knew that it'd be over my head. Like she would have the power, because in the Jehovah's Witness organization, like if she said something, because she told me this later, she told me, I'm not making this crap up, that she wanted the power because now she didn't want to look like the bad person. Because now, only time in this religion you get a divorce, even if you don't get along anymore, right? You don't do that. So if you get a divorce, it's like somebody slept with somebody else. So she didn't want to say anything because she really thought I was cheating on her. And I'm like, I never did. I would catch her getting on my phone in the middle of the night, dude, like looking through my phone. I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, she always had, I never hid my passwords. She never found anything because I wasn't doing anything, dude. That's not what was on my mind. And she was trying to find things on me and never found anything.
And that's really normal from people that are doing it themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so then I'm like, Sable, what are you doing? Yeah. And dude, I was still young and I didn't even know this. I'm in my 30s at this time. And I'm thinking like, you don't, like, why? Like, Sable, I'm not going to cheat on you. Like, you know everything I've done. I've told you about the strip clubs and like porn. Like, you know everything. Like, I'm not going to hide anything from you. She's hiding stuff from me, right? Like you're talking about. And so then, there were still, I'm like, Sable, I wanted to move on. And so I'm like, can you just let me know so I can tell the elders that we can get this divorce? Like, because I can't sign up that paperwork unless you tell me that you basically, had fornicated with somebody else. So like, if you fornicated, you got to tell me and tell the elders, then I can sign the paper and you go be free. No, Eric, that's none of your business. That's what I got told for almost 2 years. So I was just in limbo. Thinking, okay, well, at this time she's out. She was going to try to get remarried, dude. And I found this out later. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're still married. What's going on right now? And I'm just trying to just get through my job. Dude, it's just crazy, man. And so then, as time goes on, she finally tells me, I guess she cut it off with this other person or whatever. She moved out, and I'm just living my life, just going to work, trying to stay busy, do my thing. And she finally tells me, she's like, I got to talk to you. And I was like, okay. She had her moment, whatever, right? She realized our years from dating, everything. If I start getting emotional now, because up until now, there was a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of emotion. Maybe some of my stories rambled on. Sorry, it is what it is.
No, it's been great.
But this is where I feel like the love we had, that we were fighting for, finally came to a head of like, we were just didn't know how to show it. And so she came to me and she's like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, I'd never moved on. Like I was just doing my thing. And I knew we were going through I knew she was cheating. Like it was, I knew, I didn't know because I never saw it.
Mhm.
But dude, when you're in bed with somebody and they're asking you to, do things like that are not normal, you're like, there's other stuff going on, right? But she would never tell me. So I can't, as a witness, there's nothing I couldn't do anything because I'm bound by the rules of that religion. So I'm just kind of fly on the wall. I'm just kind of here, right? And so she goes, you're free to remarry, and she goes, I've done a lot of bad things, you know, and she's like, I'm not happy with myself. She goes, all you ever tried to do was love me. She's like, I know we hurt each other a lot and we were young and just trying to figure it out. She's like, but I lost who I was as a person. She's like, I just lost who I was. And she goes, you have been yeah, she's just like, you've just been a man I really respect. And it took years for her to say that. And she's like, you gave me a life that I've ever wanted. She goes, I was selfish. I, you know, with my time, she was just like, I was just a very selfish person, Eric. And I did a lot of things that I never thought I was going to do. Um, I've hurt you. I've hurt God. I've hurt your family. I've hurt my family. I've hurt our friends. I've lied about you for a very long time. And like everything, like, just like, it was like relief off of me. But then it was also like, God damn it. Like, are you serious? Because at this time I was like, I'm moving on. Like, this is done. But I loved her so much. And I had no, like, even some of the like pain of screw you was gone. Like in that moment, I was like, I was like, babe, it's gonna be okay. Like, I love you so much. Like, it's gonna be okay. And I'm like, thank you for telling me finally. I go, but all I wish I can remember this conversation like it was yesterday. And I'm like, just forgive yourself. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. And I go, we all make mistakes. I made plenty of them. We've tried to. We hurt each other so bad that we both went down these dark holes that we just didn't know how to stop it. And so, I'm like, I still want to go through with the divorce. Like, we need to. I go, I don't know what the future holds. I go, but you know, we've hurt each other so much where, like, I need time away now. I go, this is for me. I go, it took, like, I suffered for a very, very long time. I felt she suffered too. I'm not saying we both did, but I suffered, and I'm like, I need to, that we're gonna continue to go with this. And I go, I don't know what the future holds, but both of us need to heal. We both need to heal. We've done a lot of damage to each other. We need to get our relationship better with God. We need to get our relationship better with ourselves, our friends, our family. And I go, we need to work on ourselves. And if this marriage is meant to work, maybe it was the wrong decision at the time to walk away. I don't know. I go, but if we're meant to be together, we'll be back together. I go, but I love you. I'm gonna be your best friend. Like, I'm here for you, whatever you need. My phone. Like, you're here. You're my first love, babe. Like, you're always gonna be here. I go, but we need to go our separate ways. And I tried to, like, really end it, and then she just started crying. She's like, no, she's like, I get it. Like, I respect that, and I'm like, I respect you. Like, we just had a great conversation.
Hmm.
And it was very loving. And it was like that moment was the moment that showed like it was just real and raw. There was no one was trying to be bigger than their person. No one was trying to like prove anything. It was just like, but I didn't, I was like, I worked on myself for a while, and I truly just wanted her to be happy, because me knowing her from teenage years to all those things and the things she did in our bed while I was on duty, then now she's having unprotected sex, and then now having sex with me. Who knows what I could have got, you know? And it was just, I'm just like, I just want you to be happy. Like, forgive yourself. It's okay. Like, move. I'm here for you. Go do what you need to do. Um, and so then that led, and then dude, we were actually texting all the time after that, and I'm like, hey, things were okay. She was, the whole retirement thing, and there was a lot of paperwork up into, a lot of things in between that. But uh, yeah, dude. So that happens, and she starts going downhill, like bad. And I'm getting text messages now. So she now goes back to meetings because she wasn't doing the church thing for a while, and she goes back and she goes onto what we call a committee, and she's with 3 elders, dudes in suits and ties, right, trying to do the professional thing. She asked me, she goes, I'm going to go talk to the elders. These are the leaders of the congregation. And I said, Sable, like, if you want, you could do that. I go, but you probably know what they're going to do. I'm like, so you've already told me. God knows everything you've done. Like, we're good. Like, you do you. I'm like, but I wouldn't do that. And she did, because she wanted to be back in the congregation. She wanted to do her thing, and she wanted to, do the right thing, and indoctrination and whatever stuff, right? So she goes and she talks to this group, and then she calls me immediately after, and I'm like, how did it go? She's like, well, they want to, have another meeting and whatever. They have another meeting, and she calls me right after that one again, and she's crying. And what was going to happen? She's going to get disfellowshipped, excommunicated, right? So now she has all this stuff on her conscience, right? Now what happens is all her family and her friends she can't talk to. She already feels bad. Now she has all the stuff she did on her mind, right? Now the place where you want to go to get uplifted in God and stuff like that, the people that she started making relationships with for a few months, they're no longer going to talk to her. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is not good. This is not good. Like, right away, I'm just like, okay, this isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't good. And so then I'm like, well, hey, did you let them know, like, you have like mental health problems, like you tried to commit suicide in the past as a kid, and do they know, like, you suffer, that you got like I'm not giving a pity party, Sable, but it's like, these things matter. Like, they should be making different decisions, because you do not need to be alone. You need to be around people. And yeah, I didn't tell him all that. I'm like, but you need to make sure to let him know, because you don't need to be alone. That's not going to be good for you. So then she meets with them again, and then she opens up about everything. More so, it lets them know they already made their decision, and they're like, no, we're gonna disfellowship you, and we're gonna announce it on this day, blah blah blah. So what they do is they go in front of the congregation. She's all by herself, and well, there's a congregation there, but there's, she had no family there, all by herself. And then they announce, Sable Padgett is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So once that's announced, anyone that talked to you before then can no longer talk to you. So people that she had relationships with after the meeting no longer looked at her, like literally looked at her. So she calls me after, and she's just like bawling, crying. And I'm like, Sable, that's all they know. Just, I'm going to be here for you. You know that. I'm not going to leave your side. Like, I'm your best friend. Like, we're going to get you through this, right? It's going to be okay. And just keep your head up. All right. And it's going to be a few months. And the way the game works, just do your thing, go to meetings. Yes, it's going to suck, but you made the choice to go talk to them. Okay. So I didn't want you to, but that's what it is. And so we'll get through it. She just couldn't deal with that. And so now she's home alone. And I got told, sorry, I had to back up because our divorce was going to be final in I think it was like a month or something like that. So now she got disfellowshipped. Now we're going to be divorced. I was still paying for her car. I was still paying for her medical. I was still paying for a few of her other things. So she just got disfellowshipped. She can't talk to her normal friends anymore. That she left some of the other friends that she was hanging out with to come back to be a better godly person. Now the friends in the congregation she can't talk to. The divorce is going to be final. She's going to lose her insurance. She's going to lose all these other things that I've still been paying. So now her world is now crumbling fast. Right?
Yeah.
And so she would give me text messages of, call me. I don't know what to do for insurance. And I'm like, hey, let's call HR. Let's figure it out. There's I think Cobra at the time. Is Cobra still a thing? So yeah, there was Cobra and stuff like that. And so we're trying to figure out her insurance thing. And now it's just getting worse. Yeah, it's getting worse because, it's just getting worse. And so now she's not eating. I'm seeing her. She's getting skinnier. And she's just texting me out of nowhere like, babe, I love you. I just want to go back into Target. And she would send me videos of us just having fun, laughing, joking, and old text messages of us dating. She's like, I just miss this. I miss my Eric. I'm like, yeah, I know. And she's reminisced because she's really I'm losing everything. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's like, but I'm still here. You're not going to lose me. We might not be together, but I'm here. I'm a phone call away. It'll be okay. And so people are like, dude, is she doing drugs? The people that see her around the store or whatever. And I'm like, no, she's just not eating. And so then there was one day I heard a knock on the door. And I'm like, what the heck? She was just on her knees crying, dude. Please, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, come in, get off your knees. Come on. Let's talk this out. It's going to be okay. And she was just hurting, dude, because her shame and her guilt. And then, her childhood she never dealt with. There was so much stuff in her head that was just tearing her up. And even at that moment, man, I didn't even know how to help that at that time. I just thought me being loving was cool. That's what I thought. But I see it now. I'm like, oh, there's so much more I could have done to just help her get out of that hole, because I was going to be in that hole. I did not know later. And so, as time goes on, she's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And we used to go shooting. We like to go to the shooting range together. And so she told me one day that, and this was before she was getting worse. She's like, I got a gun. I'm like, you did? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you going to the shooting range or what? Yeah, I just want it to be safe. But she said kind of nonchalant. I'm kind of like, no, you've always wanted a gun. Because we've always talked about it. But there was something in my gut, but why now? Yeah. Why now? That's weird. So I told my family. And I'm like, Sable bought a gun. They're like, she did? I'm like, yeah. They're like, does she like guns? And I was like, yeah, we used to go shooting all the time. And I'm like, she lives by herself now. I'm like, so I can see that. But it was the way she said it, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. And so then she gave me the response of, yeah, I'm by myself and I want to make sure I'm good. And I'm like, okay, cool. And whenever she shot guns, she did pretty freaking good. So I was like, okay, no, yeah, have a gun, rock on, that's cool, self-protection, whatever. Yeah. And so then, yeah, as that goes on, she's getting worse, and the text messages are getting darker, and I'm like, something's not right. And so then it started to get now like, hey, text me tomorrow morning. Like, let me know when you got home. Let me know this, let me know that. I still have all these text messages, which is crazy. Not crazy, but in the beginning, I would look through all these.
Yeah.
And hey, just let me know. You okay? Like, I love you. Like, we're going to get you. Like, I was just trying to have this constant reassurance of stuff. And she's like, I'm not doing good at all. I'm alone. Jehovah's Witnesses don't like me. This disfellowshipping is going to be, on my back for the rest of my life. And, how am I going to get remarried? And all these things, right? And I wouldn't know what it's like to have all that shame and guilt on my mind, dude. Honestly, I didn't ever go and have sex with some chick in my bed when my wife was gone. That's a lot, you know. And so anyways, so as that goes on, um, yeah, I'm just trying to text her, and she's posting photos on Instagram with other friends. I'm like, okay, cool. She's smiling, and she sounds rough, but I'm like, we're gonna get you through this. And so then I was practicing, and there was times it took her longer to respond here and there, and I would get scared, and I'm just like, Sable, text me, let me know. Okay, sorry, it was a rough day. Okay, cool. You're good. Okay, cool. Just let me know. So then I was practicing for a gig in LA, and I get a call from the San Diego investigator's office, and it was like at 9:30 at night or 10 at night or something like that. And I'm like, huh. I go, hello, and they're like, all professional. Is this Mr. Padgett? Yeah, this is Eric. Hi, this is so and so from San Diego investigator office. Um, do you know a Miss Sable Padgett? Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to inform you that she was found dead at her house. I'm just like, how was she found dead? That was it was like a pause, and I was like, how was she found dead? And they were like, well, she shot herself in the head. And I'm like, fuck, god damn it. Like, and so then I just went into this mode of work. There was no emotion. It was like, all right, I got to make phone calls. I got to figure out what's going on here. I got a long road ahead now. Let's figure it out. And I didn't even really comprehend what happened at the moment. I just started crying, screaming, and I was just like, fuck. Like, are you serious? Like, come on. Like, we were gonna get through this. Like, it was gonna be okay. And that just unwinded a lot of stuff, obviously, and emotions, and called my sister and called my parents, and everything, got even more real at that moment, So, um, yeah, it's it was a lot to take in, and I just kind of went in investigator mode on my end, and parents drove her pretty quick, and even my father at this moment, he was just like, it was an Eric I haven't seen. Like, he's like, I've never seen you at work. He goes, but somehow you just went to work mode. Like, the questions you're asking, the things, you're very particular, very he was like, you were just knew what you're doing, what you need to go, what info you needed, when you needed it, why you needed it, where it needed to go. He's like, I've never seen you do that, because they don't see me at work. Yeah. Right. And he just saw a different side of me he's never seen. And he's like, there was no emotion. There was just a matter of fact. I'm like, I need to know now, and this needs to get taken care of. What do I need to do? I was just like, yeah, that's just what it was, And so for a couple weeks, man. Like, so I took some time off of work. The guys tried to tell me to take numerous guys. Like, dude, take a couple months off. Like, you've been through the ringer, dude. Like, just go ahead and take 2, 3, 4 months off. Like, we got you. I was only on Apple Valley for like a year and a half or 2 years at this time, I think. So I didn't have that much time to take, right? And there was no built up time. So I was like, no, I'm just gonna take my 3 bereavement days and just take some time off, and I'll get back to work. And they were just like, dude, take some time off, bro. And I'm like, no, what am I gonna do? Sit at home and sulk in my own pity? No, I'm gonna get back to work with my dudes and get back on their rig, what we do, and just get back with the boys and get back to life. And I wasn't discontinuing what happened at all. I was like, I'm gonna take care of what needs to get taken care of, and life goes on, and I'm gonna get through this, and get just work and don't get sedentary, sedentary. I can't even say it. Sedentary. Yeah. And just keep moving, right? Keep moving.
Yeah, soldier on like you
do. And so I did, and I should have taken time off because that led down a lot of stuff up into the medical retirement. Yeah. That suicide and the love of my life, my best friend, my first love. I didn't know how many emotions that would bring on, and it would parlay into the calls I would run, and really what would set me over the edge to not be able to do the job anymore, but then yet want to take my own life. So yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot, and hopefully I'm talking about this stuff as much, as best I can, because it's hard for me. It really, honestly, guys, it's hard for me to be this open and vulnerable, to talk about some of my deepest, darkest demons. It really is. But it's like, it's life. It's life. And the whole purpose of me talking about this is to, first of all, get it off my chest, to let you know I'm human, but also anyone else that is going through this, hopefully me being open can, you can feel some kind of connection to be like, you're not alone either going through some of these challenges.
No, I guarantee that story is going to have a massive impact on a lot of people. And man, it's I think that was like a phenomenal way for you to be able to relay that, because I think personally, just as a good friend of yours, like that's the clearest I've ever been able, or you've ever been able to explain it, even to me, even in the conversations we've had, where you've masked a lot of things, or you've skipped over details and left things out. I never pushed because I knew that there was other things there. I mean, shit, you filled in a lot of blanks for me that stuff that you never even told me about. And I think it's important because if people are experiencing these types of things in their personal lives right now, they can go back and listen to this and pick up things you said, because, especially towards the end there, where you're talking about kind of her decline. And I'm sure the mind fuck that is for you now at times, when you feel like you should have done more, or could have done more, or what should you have done, or should you have stopped her, and all this other stuff. I mean, like, I imagine you've gone through that roller coaster for years, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, man. It's like there's just a lot of shame, that, like I said, like even talking about this and being able to try my hardest for how unlinear I can be to try to stay on topic as much as I can with there's even more details to this that I haven't even hit, right? But I have to try to figure out what's most important and what's going to grab, right? And what's, it all matters, but how do I explain it to the best of my ability is all I'm trying to do. And yeah, there's and the things people say when someone commits suicide, right? It is so brutal. People think they're helping, but they're really just making it worse. And it's no fault to theirs. But the shame and guilt that we already feel as a person, that is involved with a loved one that's committed suicide like that, of course you feel like it's your fault. I could have done more. I could have done this. How did I not see that? It was the job. The job is the problem. It was because I was a drummer. Maybe if I was more spiritual, maybe it wasn't because maybe it was because I wasn't spiritual enough. Maybe it was the freaking strip club. Gosh damn it, Eric, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Maybe it was the porn. Gosh dang, it's your fault. But I never cheated on her. I never did that. I didn't have sex with anybody else. I didn't kiss anybody else. I didn't do any of this stuff. I didn't bang anybody else. Like, okay, no, and you're just going through all these things, right? Maybe if I was, if I was home every single night, this wouldn't have happened. Or maybe what ifs, right? There's just so much thought, dude, so many things that go around in your head, and you're on circles and circles and circles. And at the end of the day, it just takes time. It's time to hash it out. And in a world that is so noisy, everybody has an opinion, specifically when you go to work, because that's where we spend a lot of our time is at work. People think, they're helping by, whatever it might be, right?
Well, what are some specific examples that you could share that
Yeah, I mean,
people might have said to you, or things they did that they thought they were helping but made it worse? What are examples?
Is like, well, what you said. F her, right? Go freaking go have some drinks with the boys. Let's go to Vegas. Let's go to Mexico, right? Let's go to the river, dude. Let's go. Dude, there's tons of chicks out there, bro. You're gonna be divorced. You're gonna be like, or dude, like, get over it. Some are like, and right away, some are like, oh, dude, you should get remarried right away. It's like, just, gosh, you deserve a great wife. It's like, well, she was great. She was, right? Yeah, she was like, she was broken, but like, I wasn't perfect either. I had my mistakes, and at the end of the day, we all think we're trying to help the person, and dude, there was no fault to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming anybody, but when you're going through a challenging mess like that, it's so chaotic, you don't really know who to believe. You don't believe yourself. You're hurting so much on the inside. We've talked about this with Doc, Shauna Springer, but like, the shame and the guilt just eats you up, and a big thing for me was like, if I wasn't so numb, I could have saved her life, right? If I would have taken her out more, if I would have had more quality time with her, screw this freaking firefighting job. It's not the job, right? Like, it's me as a person, right? And it's
but this was your own internal dialogue.
Yeah, there's so much, and it takes years.
Oh, sure.
And some people never, dude. There's people I know where someone in their family have committed suicide, and it's been longer than mine, and they don't come to grips with it.
Yeah.
Death is hard. It's hard enough, man. Just straight up death. Even someone that lives their life, and a full life.
Yeah.
People still have stories of their mom or their dad or their grandparents or their whatever it might be, because it's a loved one. Death that's like hard. And every death has its different emotional baggage, right? But suicide is obviously not good, because they're taking their own life. Because like, if somebody gets in a car accident, somebody can get mad at the drunk driver. Oh, it's the drunk driver. They're going to have blame somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So the blame goes to us. It was my fault. There's no drunk driver to blame. There's no person that caught the house on fire, the bad person, right? To try to help you grieve or get over it. It's like, you're the problem. I'm the problem. I'm to blame. If I would have done this wouldn't happen. If I, right? So you feel like you're the problem. Then you put all this onto work, onto life, and there's the failure and the negative bull crap that your mind starts to believe that is not true, just gets you in a deep hole, in a very deep hole. And you have to work through it, and no one can do it for you. No one can do it for you. It's up to us. It's up to us to make sure that we, first of all, come to grips and accept what happened. For some people, that never happens. Acceptance of a suicide never happens. Some it does. And some accept differently, right? But I think life is such a gift, and However, whatever time frame that is for us to accept. And I think this is something I want people to know about you. It's like you've never rushed it on me, like this conversation, right? And I think for people that are listening, if they have someone that has gone through this, they're very. I know I was very difficult to deal with for a very long time. You get annoying as hell, and there's a lot of pity party moments. There's a lot of you run in circles. You can't focus. You can't stay linear. You don't trust yourself. You don't believe yourself. You don't believe what's going on. You lose hope. You lose faith. You lose your dignity, self-respect. You just lose so much of who you are as a person to just try to figure it out. But I think for me personally, me losing myself is what I personally has helped me, because it's made me the person I am today. And it's kind of like that saying we were talking, the challenge coin you gave me. What's the challenge coin say?
Memento mori. We'll
Yeah.
have to die. Memento vivere.
And I feel like I
Almost
died.
live.
Even though I wanted to take my own life, and we've talked about it prior in other podcasts, I didn't. But I was living and I was dead. I truly felt dead inside for a very long time. Yeah. And sometimes you do have to die to rebuild yourself. I'm not saying that's always good, but unfortunately, for my story, there was no life in me. There was no hope in anything from, a lot of things. And I had to rebuild. Anyone that's going through, it's not just me, it's us, a team, a people, the Rick team, right? It's us knowing that if you're going through this, it's up to us to rebuild ourselves. It's not our family's job. It's not our friend's job to rebuild us. It's our job to rebuild ourselves. Some people may think they're being supportive, but to you, they may not be, but they're trying their best. And so the one going through it, the one that lost a loved one to suicide, is going to have a different connection with that. So however we get through that, we get through it. But we have to, it's one thing for me, dude, that movie in Waves and War, it's when it was Patsy, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was afraid to move on when her husband died. And it hit me in that movie. I felt, even though Sable was cheating and even though she was doing it, I still loved her. Doesn't take away from the bad, right? There's still love there. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of things we were trying to work through. For a very long time, I felt so bad to just move on. I'm like, gosh dang. Sable never even got to see the full me, like the full 100% person I wanted to be because of all the noise. Why does anybody else deserve it? Yeah, we screwed. Yeah, we're bad to each other, but it doesn't feel right. Like there's just these weird dialogues that go in your head that are just like, no, dude, it's healthy to move on. Like it's okay to love again. It doesn't mean you're disrespecting the person. Me talking about any of this isn't meant to disrespect Sable. That's not why I'm saying this. It's not to disrespect myself. It's not to disrespect anyone that went through suicide. It's like, hey, there's things that we do as people because we're human and we're trying our best and we're going to make some bad decisions in that. But we still got to get over it. We got to figure it out. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. It might hurt a little bit. But that movie really just hit a lot of things with me. And when she said that, and in particular, it coming from a woman, I think guys, for some reason, for me, it's harder. I don't know. Like, I don't know why, but coming from a woman to say it how she said it, I was like, that's because they're connected. They're just more emotional than we are. And it just hit me. And I was like, you know what? Thank you for saying that. Like, that was a moment of like, it's okay. Like, I love you, Sable. I wish you were still here. I wish you could see the improvements I've made. I wish I could see the improvements you made if you'd still be here. If you were happily married, oh God, I'd be so happy for you. If I was, awesome. If we were together, awesome. Like if whatever it may be, to just be able to tell someone, give someone a text message, anyone that's lost someone, they love or whatever, just to give them a text message of some sort, right? is big. Of like, hey, hope you're having a great day today. Um, and I just came to that realization, like a week ago. Like it's okay to move on and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And why did it take that long? I don't know. I don't even care. I don't care. But
Well, it took. I mean, I love that. Bro, I'm so happy to hear that as your friend, because it was actually a question I was going to ask you tonight about that. Like, at what point are you going to move on? Because it's okay. I
yeah,
was going to tell you that because I've seen it for a long time, and you need to be able to close that chapter and move on, not to forget her, not to say pretend it never happened, but to live your life, to do what I gave you that coin about. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna die, dude. Someday, we all are.
yeah,
You got to live now, right? And
yeah,
and everything you've told me about her and the story you just shared with all of us, I would assume if she were here for me to ask that question to, she would say, "Yeah, fuck her, go live, be happy. Don't wallow over me," kind of thing. And that's a beautiful thing for you to share. That hopefully, if people take your recommendation to watch that movie, they'll see exactly what you're talking about. But Patsy's first husband was a SEAL who was killed in war, and um, she ended up remarrying another SEAL, but it was years later, and it's a beautiful story, and that hit me a lot too, and for a different reason, because we have friends who have we've lost in the fire service whose widows have moved on with other firefighters, and it's a very like
yeah,
fractured camp of some guys that despise the fact that another firefighter is with that person's widow because they feel like it's this like horrible, disrespectful thing to their memory. And then there's the other people like myself who are happy that those people they found each other in these, and because in both the instances that I have personally, and you have one too, the beautiful thing is that like the memory of the men that we lost in our lives will live on, because the men that are currently with their widows aren't trying to suppress that. They're celebrating those people as phenomenal men and husbands and fathers, and I think there's beauty in that. And I think if the guys were to look back, or you could ask them, hey, what do you think? Like, yeah, I'm totally glad that
yeah,
my ex is with, or my widow is with this guy, and not with some scumbag, with one of the good guys, kind of thing. So
yeah,
I would assume that Sable would want that for you too, just like you just said about her. If she was married, great, you'd be so happy for her. So I mean, I think that's awesome to hear as your friend, and I hope other people I hope that resonates with other people the way that it does. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because I wanted to ask you that question about like when not to say go rush out and just find a girl to be with, right? But I mean,
yeah,
just like giving yourself the permission to
yeah,
move on, and to put that down, because it's not your burden to carry around for the rest of your life. I mean, it's I can't imagine, this is all just me. I can't imagine it. And, I've talked about it over the years, and it's so easy for other people to say what they would do, and me even think in my own brain about like, oh, what would I do, kind of thing. And I think, I think the fact that you soldier on every day and you haven't quit and you continue to do these things is kind of evidence that you're doing it right. And to drive the point home, like the thing that hit you was this woman you don't know on a documentary sharing something
yeah,
literally for the world to see, and it literally hit you all in the feels about it and helped you make a major step forward. And that's the intent of you sharing this, is that maybe something you said in this last few hours is something that will resonate with somebody that we hope kick a door open for
yeah,
them to move on. And I would think too, if again Sable were here, to ask her and say like, hey, would you be okay with everything Eric just shared? Would you feel disrespected? I think she would completely say, I'm so glad that the story of my life, the trials, the tribulations, the difficulties are being shared in the effort to potentially have somebody else avoid the road that she was on,
yeah,
or at least I mean, you get what I'm saying. And I think that's I just think that's like a really beautiful way to really honor her,
yeah,
and I think too often people want to inflate a memory of a person with all of the frills and all the good and the halo, and this person was this, and we can talk about all the beautiful things about why you clearly still love her. I mean, there's no doubt you're always going to love this woman, and she'll always be a part of your life. So really, she'll always be alive, because
yeah,
she'll always be in your mind and your heart. But I think it's super important to share that, like you said, we're all broken people. And when I hear the story, if you go back to like a lot of you sanitize it for a second, take the emotion out of it, and you look at it from a lot of the stuff that we talk about from the perspective of mental health and the PTSI, the injury. I mean, you're two kids that had PTSI from childhood, both of you. You know, you're both we're stuck in survival mode from the beginning of your lives. And so when you two found each other and cling to each other and were just trying to navigate life, you're literally wandering around in the dark with no light, no flashlight. You guys were just, you didn't even have stars to steer by, right?
Exactly.
You were just kind of trying to hold hands and stick together and navigating this crazy storm of life with very little support, very little guidance, you know, and brains that were injured by massive trauma in your youth.
Yeah.
And really, like, as you told the story, I just, you know, it's like, dude, you both were just surviving. It's like two people just trying to survive. You know, it's like I left you out in the ocean, middle of the ocean together, and you're just treading water. Like, well, when's the lifeboat coming to get us? You know, where's the helicopter? Well, there's the sharks, and here's this, and there's a storm, and it's just everything constantly. And you guys both, you know, we're fighting to survive together. And so, I mean, it's I'm sure it'll be with you your whole life. And I think that what you said is super impactful, that there are so many people we both know, and I'm sure anybody listening to this feels the same, that has had a suicide in their family or close friends. And it's something that a lot of people never get over.
Yeah. And,
you know?
and I don't think you'll ever get over it. I think you just have to accept it in a way, you know?
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
Yeah. And the biggest thing about moving on is because I have had to try, I've tried to have relationships with other girls, right?
Yeah.
2 amazing women, dude. Yeah. Amazing. There's one of the first ones I met, amazing. But when you're not healed, it's not fair to the other person you can't, that relationship, that history is the history. And if you're not healed, even though you're in this, you're trying to build a new life, if you're not healed, you're still going to bring your baggage into that next relationship. And so really healing yourself, and something with like the suicide and all the stuff we just talked about. And it's not fair to the next woman I want to be with to always talk about that person. There'd be moments of like, obviously, because that person was a part of my life, but that was a moment. And you're still gonna, just like with DJ and them on the movie, right? They'll go to his grave and they'll give their, because they're part of that. He's not taken away from that. But I can't compare. I can't be, well, you know what I'm trying to say here?
No, I think the important part is, like, you know, in order for a person to truly understand you and love you, they have to know what made you, is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And to try to suppress something that was so instrumental in making you who you are today, then they don't really truly care about you as a person. They don't want to get to know you.
Yeah.
And not that you're going to have a shrine in the house and pictures all over the wall.
Yeah.
But to have, you know, a picture, or to have memories, or to save text messages and stuff. And I mean, I think that that's a cathartic thing that somebody who is secure in themselves and understands that you're making a choice to be with them would have zero problem with that.
Yeah.
And that's where, like I said, the friends we have that are with widows, it's the same kind of thing. I mean, I know for a fact there's pictures in the house of our buddies that passed away that, you know, they're on the wall, they're framed. The guy that's currently with the widows is like, yeah, hey, that's my buddy too. You know, like we were firefighters together on the fire department, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's a beautiful thing. I really do. And, but yes, to your point, like, I think that's exactly fair. It's, you know, you can't make somebody else happy or be with somebody else until you get your shit sorted out.
Exactly.
And it's been a process, as, you know, you say often on the podcast, like that constant process of, you know, day in, day out work kind of thing. And it's great. It's funny how that works, man. It took a line in a movie, you know, that just hit you the right way, you know, because I remember you hit me up after you watched it and you were just like, man, that was incredible. And then we talked about it, and was just coincidental that I was going down there and all these things. But
Yeah.
no, it's cool. It's awesome. I think I think that like the the suicide thing is all too often talked about in hushed tones. Like it's we don't really get into the details of it. Not that we need to get into anything gory, right? But to be honest about how those things happen. And I think the way that you illustrated it was, I don't think you could have done any better, because I mean it really paints a very good picture of, the two young kids just trying to navigate life. And then as you got older and your paths diverged, I mean, even those things, as her behavior became more erratic and stuff, I mean, a very powerful message, when she's like, hey, I bought a gun. I mean, there's clearly things in her life, and you even mentioned it early on, a suicide attempt when she was young, and not to diminish, but was it really, or was it the cry for help one? We don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly
It
my
was
point.
like,
Yeah.
so quote unquote hanging yourself, was it super gnarly, or was it, she wrapped something around her head? And I mean, and I'm not saying
No,
one
you're
way or
right.
the other, right?
Yeah, no,
I'm not,
I get it.
but I'm just saying that, it's real easy to kind of be like, no big deal. But like anybody listening, I would hope that, you take stock of a person's history in their life, and you listen, and you are looking out for these types of red flags, as like Doc Springer would say. And then those statements, where it's just those cryptic things, like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, where it's just like, oh, hey, I bought a gun. And, your internal bells were going off, but everything you said made perfect sense to me. It's like, yeah, she lives alone. You guys had this history of shooting. So
Mm-hmm.
you probably went, you're being dramatic, Eric.
Yeah,
Don't jump to conclusions,
exactly.
because then you're going to be she's going to accuse you of being the asshole, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's
totally.
that's probably
Yep.
where I would have gone down a rabbit hole in my mind. Is
Well,
like,
then I don't want to take away her dignity.
yeah,
I'm like, no, you get that. I
yeah,
get it. You're alone.
yeah,
It's
not a
like,
child, right?
yeah,
Like it's like, yeah, and
yep,
so yeah, I mean, no, I think that was awesome, man, to really be that vulnerable about it, and I really hope that it, um, well, I have no doubt anybody listening to this is gonna know what it takes for you to be able to share that. So,
yeah,
I mean, I thank you for it.
yeah. And I hope I hope I was able to explain it. I'm sure there were some details here and there I missed or rambled on here and there, but it is hard. It's hard. It's a very heavy subject, like we talked about before. But I did my best to try to get the information across. I think I wanted to get across. So hopefully, it can help some of you guys out there, because it can get very lonely really fast. But know it's going to be all right. It will be okay. The pain will lessen day by day. It may not feel like it. You might feel super lonely, like nobody understands you. You're the lone guy, you're the lone woman, guy on the island, whatever it might be. You might feel like your brain's going to try to play a lot of tricks on you, but as long as you don't quit, just put one foot in front of the other, get up, do what you need to do. When I say do what you need to do, get up and move. But there are days where you need to just take a breather and feel that pain, cry a lot, and realize it's very heavy. And you don't try to force yourself to accept it immediately. And that'll help. If you need to accept it immediately, if that works for you, okay. But what I've found, and from other people, the more you try to force the healing process, you're just delaying the healing process. So just take it day by day. The healing will come. The stuff will come. Keep moving. Keep doing positive things. Yeah. Just. We've talked about journaling, all these great things, meditation, all the stuff. Keep doing those things. And what really works if you've lost someone in suicide is writing them letters. Writing letters to them works very, very good, because I was very fortunate in this. We did, I don't know, but there's a lot of things we did talk about. We got a lot of stuff off of our chest. And I could honestly say there's probably nothing else I would have told her if she was still alive. And a lot of people struggle with that. Well, I didn't get to tell them this. I didn't get to tell them I love them, or I didn't get to tell them this, or if I would have said this one more time. I don't know what that's like because I didn't deal with that. So that's another challenge, right? Someone that went through my kind of situation might have to go through. Write letters, let them know. Because if it only stays in your head, because even though I didn't deal with that, I still struggled with it. Doesn't mean even though I told her a lot of those things, I still struggled with, did I tell her enough, right? So get those out. I would write her numerous letters. Hey babe, I love you. If I can tell you one more time, I would text her, even though I knew the phone was dead or not there. I would give her text. But my goal wasn't to always do that. It was to wean myself off, like if I only had to, but I would journal the majority of the time. And just let her know, I would just get everything out of my head and write her letters. And eventually those letters, you're getting all those thoughts out of your head onto paper, you reread it and you're healing yourself. And you're constantly just letting those thoughts come out. And then you'll notice maybe it's numerous times a week. It might go once or twice a month, then every couple months, and then you're off for a few months and you do it once. Like, it's just a process. So just let the process work out as it works out. But you got to get the thoughts out of your head. If they're just staying in your head, and sometimes just even talking them out doesn't work. It's good for you to put pen to paper and to get them out. And talk therapy, do it all. But a big thing that helps, scientifically proven, is just get pen to paper. Get it out. It helps a lot.
I think that's excellent advice.
Yeah.
Well, brother, I'm sure that was heavy. I like I said, I thank you for having that courage and sharing it, and hopefully it feels good to be able to do that and put it out in the universe, and help others heal and navigate this kind of stuff, because life goes on for all of us, and you gotta live, man. We're all gonna die. You gotta live. You gotta get out there every day and do the best you can, and as you said, right, day at a time. And
that's it, man.
You have your down days, like push on through it. Build your tribe. So anything else you want to add to close it out?
No. Thank you guys for listening. I don't know how long this podcast was. Oh, yeah, about 2.5 hours. Okay, that was gonna be longer. If you guys made it this far or made this into chunks, solid. Thank you for listening, guys, and hopefully, what I said, like I keep saying this, can help you. And I'll just say it one more time. Like I don't think I've ever been this vulnerable, even with Shane. Like literally, this is wild for me to do, but it's been eating me alive for a very long time, to just talk and just to get stuff out and to let people know, like, we're all human and we're all trying to navigate it the best we can together. There's going to be ups and downs. We're going to do things that we're not proud of. But I think the more real we are with ourselves, and just the more real we are that we're humans, and we let people know, like, hey, it's going to be all right. I think that's what the world is missing. I think there's a lot of, you tell me this a lot, like bumper sticker bullshit. I love that, like there's a lot of fakeness out there. It's getting worse. It truly is. With AI, right? There's so much stuff going on out there. And it's like, I think what we need as people is just knowing that, we're all trying to figure it out. Hey, if one of your brothers or sisters or friends or family members is, a little down, it's not your responsibility to fix them, but it is our responsibility as friends to support and do the best we can. Let them know that we're here for them, and let there be an open space so they can get off their chest what they need to get off their chest when they're dealing with something so challenging. And maybe sometimes all they need is someone to listen. They don't need someone to try to fix them. Just sometimes a listening ear goes a very, very long way. And you might have to hear that story over and over and over and over. Sorry. Like there comes a moment when you obviously have to move on. Like you got to do it. But just if they're trying to if they're trying to move on, it will happen, because that pain goes deep. So just do the best you guys can to be there for one another. I'm hopefully, any of my friends that listen to this podcast, anyone that's ever supported me these past few years, the fire department's true friends and buddies. I freaking love you guys. You know who you are. I know some of you guys that listen to the podcast. My hat's off to you guys, because I know I have not been easy to deal with these past few years. So thank you for being patient with me and me making it to the other side. And all I want to do is just pay it forward. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think you did that and then some, man. There's a ton of great takeaways from this. So let's close it out, dude. Cool. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can reach me at epadgettcoching@gmail.com.
And I'm still at ricfirecaptain@gmail.com.
Cool.
So we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right. See you guys.